Hey, we're back with a new video. I just rebuilt this engine for a guy from Wadesville, Indiana. His name is Ronnie Lindauer, and he sent it over because he had crank seal leaking on it, so it was going to be a quick job. We did crank seals in it, and when I got it tore down, I found out the crank was separated and it was about to come apart, so we went ahead and put a brand new hot rods crank in it and all new seals, of course, and I just cleaned the cases up, threw a coat of paint on them, and then reassembled it. Leaked it down. I sent him a video of the leak down, and held good and everything. So the engine's all ready to go. But now I noticed when I had it apart that his clutch basket had a lot of slack in it, and I told him about it, and he said, "Yeah." He goes, "My clutches are probably pretty bad too. They were starting to slip on me." And I said, "Yeah." I said, "They had some bluing on the steels." So he told me to go ahead and get him a brand new Yamaha basket. We got a brand new Yamaha basket here, and then I ordered him a set of Driveline heavy duty Dune. Dune or trail, is it Dune or drag, or what is it? Dune trail, yeah, clutch kit. So we're going to be putting that in it real quick. And I've had a lot of questions, or a lot of guys want me to do a video on how to replace a clutch, even though I've done it in segments. You know, like I've done a video on splitting a case, and I've done one on putting it back together. But I understand as a household I have to look for one video on how to tear it down, look for another, and then scroll through to find where I put the clutch together. So on this one here, we're going to go ahead and tear it apart, put a new clutch in it, a new basket in it, and I'm going to show you guys how to reassemble it and set the pancake bearing on it. Being it's not in the frame, obviously, and a lot of you guys are going to want to know how you get it to cover off out of the frame. So I've done another video where I showed how to adjust the pancake bearing, the new, the upgraded pancake bearing. So I'm going to insert a clip from that video just to show you how to get the cover off in the frame, and then we're going to come right back to this engine here, and we're going to go step by step, pull it all apart and replace the old stuff with the new stuff, and we'll get it all back together. So let me get that clip here inserted, and we'll be back to this engine here in probably just about 4 to 5 minutes. It's going to be a short clip. Oh, and I also wanted to tell you guys, Ronnie and his father own a pool business. They're pool contractors, in-ground pools. And they do that in the Wadesville, Indiana area. So if you guys own a pool or have a pool, or heck, even want a pool installed, or need a hot tub serviced, or looking for a spa, jacuzzi, anything like that, hey, give him a call. If he's in the area, he'll hook you up. He does really good work. I've checked him out online and seen a lot of the work they do, and they do really good work. So get him a call. It's 812-449-9630. The name of the business is Lindauer Pools and Constructions. They've been in business over 50 years. So give them a call. With that being said, we're going to go ahead and get this clutch cover off of here, and we'll get started. First thing you want to do after you have it all washed and ready to go is drain the coolant. We're going to do that now. Just use an old pot or pan or whatever you have handy. I have an old pot that I had laying around, so I'm going to use that. I need to pull my radiator cap off so it'll drain. Okay, here it comes. Okay, that takes care of the coolant. We'll let that drain for a sec. After you drain your coolant, or if you have a big enough pan, I think I do, you can reach under and drain your transmission too, so you don't get oil all over your floor. You can choose to tilt it way over on one side, so all the oil runs to one side of the engine. I've done that plenty of times, but I'm not gonna do that today since I'm not worried about losing any of the fluids. Like I said, it's coming out. While that's draining, we'll go ahead and start pulling everything off. So first thing we'll do is we'll go ahead and pull the pegs off. Or the peg rather. You'll need a 14 for that. Buzz it right off. Then you want to pull your C-clip, your E-clip for your brake. Nothing to it. Reach in one of the slots with a flat head. Twist. And the clip will come right off. Behind the clip is a washer. Then you have your spring on there. Take a pair of needle nose. Pop it off. Like so. Then reach back here. You got a cotter pin. I've already straightened mine out. Just reach back, straighten it out, and pull your pin out. And then you can pull this pin out here. There's going to be a small washer on the back side. And then you can disengage your brake lever and slide it right off. Alright, so now we're back to this engine, and I just ended up showing you guys how to pull the peg and the brake lever off, which is pretty simple, but if you've never done it before, it may raise questions. So we're going to go ahead and continue from here. That way majority of the work is done right here on this engine. So we're going to pull our gear shift, our kicker off, I'm sorry. And if you've got a stainless bolt in there, I believe it's going to be like a 6mm or 5. This is an OEM bolt, so it'll be a 12. So we'll just buzz it out of there real fast, and it'll pull right off. If it doesn't pull off, wedge a flathead screwdriver in here, and it'll open it up, let it come right off. Now these bolts here are all Phillips except for this one here. It rounded off real bad when I pulled it apart the first time, and I didn't have any matching Phillips to put in there, so I just put in what I had. These aren't real tight, as you can tell, because they don't need to be real tight. I mean, they're Phillips screws, so it's not like you can torque them. They won't leak as long as everything's clean and the gasket's in good shape. And one oddball screw is this one right here. It's an Allen. I'll just pop it out of there real quick. And this cover will have a nice fresh gasket on it. No sealant, nothing like that. I just made sure it was nice and clean when I put it on. So we'll just knock it loose real fast here. I need my dead blow, but I got it holding my engine up so y'all can see better. Get off those dowel pins and that coolant tube. They fit tight in there. Trying not to tear that gasket. That goes there. Well, she fell anyway. Make sure you guys are still in view here. No, not at all. I'll readjust. Let me get this cover off and then I'll readjust just a second. Okay, so there we go. Cover's all nice and clean. Like I said, the gasket doesn't have anything on it, so we can pull it right off. This oil on the bottom is just from, you know, pre-lubing the transmission and all that good stuff. Let me readjust this engine and we'll get back to it. Okay. We can continue with where we left off. We'll go ahead and we can leave the kicker in there. So we're just going to pull the pressure plate off. It'll be a 10mm. Just pull those right out. Notice these weren't real tight either. They don't have to be real tight. Everything's clean, so I'm going to drop everything in the clutch cover so we can just put it all right back together. And then when you pull this off, when you put it back on, let me show you guys. Let me get this off of here. This is important. A lot of guys make a boo-boo right here. Now you see how when this pressure plate goes on, see there's no gap. See that gap there? See that? That's the way it needs to fit. If you put it on there and you get that there, that won't work. When you put it together, the clutch isn't going to work right. I mean, it's not even going to take off. So the way that you make sure is, one, just take it off, turn it over to the next hole, and then it'll seat. And what you're doing is just seating these splines into these splines here. But what you're supposed to do, see this arrow here? There's an arrow on there. The lighting won't let you see it. There's an arrow there, and then there's little circles on the inner hub. There's a little circle here, and then there's one here. I'm trying to look in the camera here. Right here. See there, you get the drift. But anyway, you line that arrow up with that circle there. Line up the arrow with the circle, and that'll put you where you need to be. But I mean, you don't have to. You can tell. Common sense tells you it's on right or wrong. That's right. Okay, so let me get you guys back on the tripod. Okay, now these clutches are pretty well done. So I'm just going to pull them all out together. You can just reach to the very back, grab them, and pull them right out. And see, you can tell they're pretty rough. Some of the steels have some bluing and stuff on them, so we're just going to throw these over here to the side. And then the basket, let's see if I can show you guys. Yeah, let me get this back over here if I can. I'm actually going to just move you guys over to the side so I can show you the slack in the basket. When you turn the basket shouldn't move independent of this primary back here, primary gear. Let's see. The engine's turning there, but we get a clean rag. Okay, watch between this basket and this gear here. And you see that movement? These cushions are gone. Okay. That's how you know you need to either replace your cushions or your basket or whatever, or just replace the whole deal. In this case, we're just going to redo the whole thing because his basket's already starting to groove out and all that good stuff. So now we're just going to knock this lock washer loose. It just folds down against that nut right there. So just take a flathead and knock it loose. I'm going to put this over here where I can get to it better. You just want to bend it out of the way enough that you can get your socket on there. That's good there. It's starting to move. Now I can get my socket on there enough and just give it a whack and it'll flatten it out. Okay, let me get my air going and we'll break this loose real fast. Give me just a sec. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and take this loose. It doesn't take long at all. Still, forgive my noisy air fitting, it's worn out. Alright, so we'll take this nut off. Behind the nut is the lock washer, of course. So you'll get that lock washer off of there. We'll put it in our clean pile. Pull our inner hub. Behind that is going to be a washer. Careful, they like to stick right there. You can walk off with it and it'll fall off. It's a thrust washer there. And then behind it is a thrust washer, the identical same as what we just took off there. It's right here on the tranny shaft. See there? They're both the same part number. You can put them anywhere. So here's the old basket. We just take it, set it aside. And we have our brand new Yamaha replacement right here. So let's take it out of the package. I'm just going to take and put a little bit of oil on that bushing there one more time, even though it's already lubed up. I'm going to put a little bit on the inside of here. What oil am I using? I'm using the same oil the tranny's going to run. Whatever you intend to run in your transmission, just pre-lube everything with that. So then we'll just take and put the new one on. See, it stopped there, but the gear here is not all the way engaged. You'll have to reach back here, turn your idler gear a little bit, and boom, slides all the way on. And go right back together the same way. You have your inner hub with your washer. You pop your washer off. It's got oil on it, but I'm going to put a little on there just to be safe. A little bit of oil on it. A little bit of oil on the back side of the contact area there on the inner hub. Slide it back on. I'm working from the side here. I can't see the splines, so. There it is. That's back on. Then our lock washer goes back on next. And the lock washer goes on. There's a little ear right here. This tang right here goes in there like that. Goes in just like that. While we're here, I'm going to put another shot of oil in there for the clutch ball. This engine's already sat a little while. I don't want it to get dry, even though I don't think it's going to happen. So then we put our nut back on, just as we took it off. The torque on this nut is to 65 foot-pounds, and I rarely torque it. I just get it tight. You just don't want to over-tighten it. If you over-tighten it, your inner hub right here will get real tight. You'll get a bind on it, and you'll know it's over-tightened. I don't have a holding tool for it, even though I need to really get one. I just hold on to it like so, and tighten it up with the impact. That's what I'm gonna do now. When I feel like it's pretty snug, I'll just stop tightening it right where this, see how it's landed here, where I can fold that down against that flat spot. So I'll just take it to the next flat spot or close enough there and fold it down. See, that's tight enough there. So see where we are now. We need to go a little more with it to get it where we can fold that over. See there, we can get it there. So we're not too tight, still spins freely. I'm gonna walk around the other side of the camera and light here to see if I can get on with my vice grips and fold that over. I'll move you guys a little bit so you can see what's going on. So we need to fold that down against that flat spot, and that just keeps it from backing off. Just like that. You can see there. There we go. Turn this light down just a little bit. It's pretty bright. Yeah, it's a lot better actually. Light's off. Okay. Then we can put our new clutch in. The driveline clutch. We bought the Dune trail clutch kit. So let's take a look at this bad boy here. Okay, we got our springs, we got our clutches, and our fibers. And I'm working on clean shipping paper here, so I'm just laying everything on the bench. Now we're going to put everything in. Now I know I'm going to take a lot of heat on this next step here, but it's just the way I do it. I've always done it, haven't had any trouble. It's just a little bit cleaner for me. You're supposed to pre-soak these fibers about 10 to 15 minutes before you run them. I don't. I just put them in dry. And I'll explain that as I'm putting everything in. So these steels here don't have the humps on the outside like the OEM clutches, so they go in just however. So you're going to start with a fiber, and you're going to end with a fiber. So fiber steel, all the way out to the last. What I do with my new clutches is I just put them in clean and dry like this, because I mean it doesn't attract dirt and it's just less messy. And when I get the engine in the frame and fired up, I'll put the back end on a jack or a jack stand where it's off the ground. Of course, crank it up in neutral. And I run pancake bearings on all my bikes, so a little bit of idle time with the clutch pulled isn't going to hurt. What I do is fire it up and let it idle, and I'll zip tie the clutch pulled. That way the clutches are relaxed and they can kind of rattle around in there, and they'll lubricate. They'll get the oil worked in between them real good. I mean, the oil's right here, so it's constantly spinning in the oil. So what I'll do is just let it idle about 5-7 minutes with a fan on it, with the clutch pulled, and then shut it down and just let it sit 10-15 minutes, and after that, they're good to go. Same difference. Just don't put them in dry, fired up, kicking in gear, and go beat on it, because then yeah, you are going to smoke them. So I've never had trouble with clutches malfunctioning ever. And I'm not done yet. I'm not going to leave it totally dry. We're not there yet. So okay, so now we're done. Started with the clutch, ended with the clutch. You're going to have 7 fibers, 6 steels. Then we're going to put our pressure plate on. So again, we're going to line up our arrow with one of the circles here. And I never really do that. I just slap it on. If it doesn't work, well, I just turn it one. There we go. Fell right into place. Everything's lined up. We have no gap in between here. That's just the way it needs to be. Now we're just going to replace our clutch springs, pressure plate, all that good stuff. See, pressure plate bolts, I'm sorry. We're going to leave our stock springs out, and we're going to go back in with a heavy duty. Show you guys the difference in the stock and heavy duty. Okay, here's a stock spring, and that is a heavy duty spring. Bad boy. Alright, and we'll put these back in. Just give them a couple taps with the impact. And I'll come back and check them with a ratchet to be sure. but they don't have to be tight. I don't torque them. I think they call for 7 inch-pounds, but I've never torqued them. I just use common sense, get them snug. With those springs holding pressure on, they're not gonna back out. I don't think I've ever I have never had one back out. I don't think I've ever heard of any backing out. I have heard of plenty of guys breaking them off, which you can't blame them. I mean, heck, you don't want it to back out, so you're gonna get it tight. But then they get too tight, and it all goes downhill from there. So just gave him a little bump with the impact. That's it. Now I'm gonna check him with a ratchet. And notice I'm grabbing the ratchet up high. I'm not grabbing it way out there where I got a lot of leverage on it. I just grab it here. And see, they're plenty good where they're at. See, they're getting a little bit of a tweak from me. That's it. Plenty good. Okay, now the last thing we need to check is to be sure our stock pusher is set right. So we're going to turn our light back on. We'll take a look at that up here. And the way you want it is you got an arrow right here in the case, like a little triangle. Then you have a little triangle on the end of this lever. Let me get some more light here. This ain't worth the crap. Much better. Okay. The way you do this is you have this little triangle right here in the case, and then you have a little point right here on this clutch arm. See there? And what you want is when you actuate this like this, you just want them to line up. See, so we're right on the money. And all you would do to adjust this is you take this jam nut loose right here. It's a Phillips in the center on a stock one, and you'll have a 12mm nut here. So if you want to take slack out of it, you'll loosen this up, and then you'll tighten this screw up. I think I'm going to go ahead and take this loose and then show you guys how it's done, because I've shown you how to do a pancake bearing, but not this actual stock one. So I'm gonna go ahead and take this loose and put the camera right about here so you guys can see what happens on both ends. So give me a sec. Alright, I got you guys propped up on a bench, and I got me a piece of wire in here with a weight hanging on it, just so that it actuates the arm for me, so I don't have to do 3 things with 2 hands. Okay, so now you can't see here real good, but all I'm going to do is hold back up on this nut here, and hold back up on the center, I'm sorry, with a Phillips, and break this nut loose. Okay, now the outside nut is loose, so now I'm going to show you guys what happens here. So see here where right now we're kind of out of line with that with these triangles. So all you're gonna do is screw in on this screw. Let me climb up here and see the screwdriver turning. Yeah, see, I'm gonna screw in on this, and see now it moves that arrow, those 2 arrows together. Now see, that would be too far out. Now it'd be too far in. So all you want to do is take your finger, reach up here, hold all the way in on it towards you, and screw in until those arrows line up. Right there, they're lined up good. So then what you're going to want to do is I'm going to go ahead and put Loctite on it. Just go ahead, hold the center, and jam that nut tight. And you're done. That's it. We have our Loctite on. I'm going to put the nut on it now. I'm going to hold back up in the center of it. Jam it tight. Now we can take this off of here, actuate it, and it lands right where it needs to. And then we come over here, we have the right amount of slack and our pusher, so everything's good to go there. See there? Got Loctite on it, got it jammed tight, we're good to go. So now we just need to put the clutch cover back on, so I'm going to get everything readjusted and we'll do that. Alright, now before we put the cover back on, back to about putting the fibers in dry. I said I don't put them in completely dry, and this is what I meant by that. What I'll do is take a little bit of oil that that I pre-lube everything with, and I'll just run some down right here in between them. Now you see it soak in there? Soaks right in. I'll just pour some across there, and I'll spin it, pour some more in, just to give it a little bit of a pre-soak, Other than that, that's all I do. Just put it together. Again, just fire it up in neutral with the clutch lever zip tied. Let it run about 5-7 minutes, with oil in it. Cut it off, let it sit 10-15 minutes to soak, and you're good to go. Okay, so we have all that done. I'm going to see if I can spin this engine just a little bit without knocking it off. There's the plugs in it, so it's tight. Okay, I spun it around just about 180 degrees, and I put a lid of oil up here. And it'll work its way down in between. Any little bit helps. But this way, you don't have a mess all over the bench, running out of the clutch cover when you're trying to put your clutch cover on and all that stuff. I don't know. It's just the way I do it. I like to work clean. And then just dry the mating surfaces off, be sure there's no oil on it. And we put the clutch cover back on the same way we took it off. Put our gasket on first. If everything's good, everything's clean, like this one is, you don't need any sealant. Unless you've got damage to your clutch cover or something like that. But I don't ever use gasket sealer on it because in the event I need to take it off like we just did here, there's no damage to the gasket whatsoever. And we just pop our clutch cover back on. Dump the old springs out of it. Here's our clutch cover. See, our gasket surface is perfectly clean. Everything's good to go. So we'll put it on, and if it doesn't want to, if it feels like the front kind of jams up and doesn't want to go on, it's because you need to spin the engine a little bit to engage your water pump drive gear. In this case, it went right on. Put our dipstick back in it. Okay. Put our bolts back in. You're going to have one longer bolt out of all of them, and it's going to go right there. The rest are all going to be the same length. Oops, I'm sorry, I lied to you guys. The long one goes right here. So, and if you don't use sealant on your gasket, get all your screws started first before you start tightening them, because that gasket can wiggle around just a little bit on that on them dowel pins. And if you get it tight once, if you get one of them tight, the gasket may move just a little bit, and then your other ones aren't going to want to go through the gasket. So just to be sure the gasket's where it needs to be sure all the screws are started and run them in just a little bit. These are all started. These are all started and good to go. You have our Allen up here. Go ahead and run that one in. See, I don't just hammer the trigger. It doesn't have to be real tight. Then when I put them back together, I put them back on with my drill, and I'll set the torque setting at like 4. Now I'm going to push on this engine, so it's going to fall. So I'm going to go ahead and take this hammer out from underneath it. We'll set it down. Scoot it out to the edge. And I will lower y'all's angle, and then we'll just tighten everything up, and then we'll check it by hand. If you use a drill on these, turn the torque setting down. Turn it up little by little, because if you start too high, you're going to round them off. These bolts are really soft. So I set it on like 4, and then just run them in tight, and then I'll come back with a good screwdriver and a rag to hold on to it with, good and firm. And I'll just make sure they're good and tight. And that's what we're going to do now. Back y'all over here. And grab a hold of this handle, just push in good and tight. Just give them all a little turn. They don't have to be tight at all. The head on the screw tells you how tight they need to be, really. If you do manage to get them super tight, you may never get them back out without tearing them up. Okay, the last one we need to check is our one oddball that I have in there, our Allen. Let's check that with a socket with a ratchet real fast. These little bitty screws, guys, so don't put out on them. Let me show you guys here. This one here is still loose, so just to give you guys a reference of how much we tighten them. Okay, so it stopped there. That's where it stopped, right? Boom, it stopped. I'm gonna turn it about that much. That's it. That's all it needs. All right, the last thing we have to put on is gonna be our kicker. Let's see what I did with it. Here it is. Here's our screw. Put our kicker back on. It looks right. Push it down a little to get to it. And it's going to be a 12, and just tighten her up. And that's it. Now you guys can put in a brand new pressure clutch, steels, pressure plate. We took that out. Even the basket. There's nothing to it. If you guys don't have to do the basket, then it's less time. All you got to do is pop these bolts, pop your peg off, your brake, your kicker, these 6 bolts, and of course drain the coolant and everything first, like I showed you at the very beginning in that other segment. And then you're going to have your big nut in the middle. I believe it's a 32 millimeter. The socket that I use is actually standard. It's 1 1/4. It fits just fine. They're the same size. So as far as tools to do the clutch with, nothing special other than a big socket, a 1 1/4 or 32. So here you go, guys. Y'all have a good day. God bless, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Let me show you this real quick here. Blue Banshee series is just dead in the water right now. We're waiting on parts. Everything's got to go to powder yet, but we're still waiting on new parts to go to powder. So they haven't gotten here yet. I'll walk you guys over here to my other shed. Show you guys some of the parts that have come in already. Here's Greg's stack of parts. Got his hot rod crank kit, his Elka shocks. He's got the A-arms. He hasn't shipped them to me yet. Got a brand new set of his cases, chains, sprockets, O-rings, billet intake, stainless bolt kit, ASV levers, Motion Pro cables. This is a very, very tip of the iceberg. This is nothing. We have a lot of stuff coming yet, and a lot of stuff we haven't even ordered. So y'all stay tuned. There's gonna be, oh, there's the SE chilling. Anyway, there's gonna be more to come, guys. So just waiting on something to work with. Y'all be good. Just a quick recap. Right after I turned the camera off, I was like, oh, I didn't tell them. Pre-lubing the clutches. If you feel more comfortable, pre-lubing them, by all means, hey, go for it. I mean, I just don't like it. I've never done it. I've never smoked a clutch, so I'm like, don't really need to. But you can either do it my way, or stick them in a clean container, let them soak for a little bit, and slap them in. Either way. So that's it. Y'all have a good one.